Hi everyone, my name is Sabapati Narayanan. I'm having a series of conversations with people around the world on remote working and how it has impacted them work-wise, infrastructure-wise, and otherwise. Today we have with us Uttaman Bhaktikrishnan, who is the Executive Vice President of ClearTouch Connect. Uttaman believes in the power of creation. He loves growing something from scratch and make it sustainable. He has founded an IT services company and a software product company and has successfully exited from both. And he's currently running a customer experience management organization, and it is called ClearTouch, and a dentistry outfit called iTouch Dental Labs. Uttaman, thank you so much for being a part of this show. Welcome to
Thank
this show. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Yeah,
All right.
I'm-
So Uttaman, I mean, there have been a lot of things that have been happening in the past 4 months. Okay. So I used to get calls from my friends and all that about 2 months ago where they used to inquire about my safety. And by the time we close the call, they'll say, stay safe, stay healthy and all that. And some of those same friends, when they call me now, the first question that they ask me is, are you staying sane? Okay. So safety has taken a back seat now. Okay. So sanity has become really, really important. So considering the changing scenario and the narrative earlier was companies were talking about there has been a substantial increase in productivity and people are able to put in more time in their work, working from home and all that. So now they're actually talking about, a lot of them are talking about the mental wellness aspect of individuals and all that. So considering all of this, how are you managing things? So I'm sure that you haven't gone to your office the last 100 days or so, and you've been
no.
working from home. So how are
Yeah,
you managing, and how are people in your company managing it? So
yeah, it's very true. Actually, probably it's going to be true. You can say this statement to most of people around the globe. In the 100 days, yeah, they have not been. It's a very fortunate situation, right? To be able to do what we are supposed to do
Mhm.
and not go to office, right? Because
Right,
if you think about it, not everybody is blessed to
very true,
take
very true.
that advantage.
Mhm.
Recently I have went for a blood test, met healthcare workers doing that, and said pretty much every single day they are coming in. Not a easy
Mhm.
thing to say. Situations like this, very very serious thing, right? So it is, we are first of all lucky, and lots of things are working in favor, the technology, and we have grown a lot about bandwidth usage, and everything, it's not just a one part, it's multiple parts coming in place, playing together nicely to make this happen. On another side, should we think this as a issue, or should we think this as a opportunity to opportunity that is pushing all of us to the next stage? I mean, rather than taking a long time, make that move very quick, right? Especially for India kind of a situation, right? Where we jumped without going through lots of internet issues in the early days. It was dial up modem, and then the
Right,
little
yeah.
bit of a DSL,
I
and then
still
the
listen to those noises.
yeah, I mean, the ringtone, still I can remember, you have to dial a number and then just get connected and all that.
Right.
It's not right. So we completely skipped that, right? Without a pandemic, we were able to skip that, right?
Mhm.
But then, and now we are at a stage where it is very very well accepted and everything. But then moving to the next level, probably this might help us push in that direction, so that it might work out well also in that perspective. But short term, there is a lot of hardships going on, with the different industries, and not all companies are able to say they are doing good, or
Mhm. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
or they can continue to do good for coming, so many, or they can only sustain for a few months, or very less time. So that is a scary part to deal with. But otherwise, yeah, so far from our company's perspective, yeah, we are blessed, I would say. So we are I mean, we had a fair share of impact from
Mhm.
the COVID, but that's accepted, right? So receiving payment too late, and
Okay.
not having the business for many customers, and so some newer opportunities. Yeah, so it's a mixed, it's a very mixed situation right now.
Okay. So I mean, you mean to say that it's business as usual, right? So. on the?
We almost made it to make it business usual and come out ahead. We figured out a way. So I think what I meant to say is the challenges thrown at every one of us, right, is very, very difficult and unprecedented, right? We have only we have not even heard about it. Now, after going through it, we are hearing, oh, it happened 100 years back, but things like that.
Right.
But so we have obviously not prepared, right? But the how quickly you can read the situation and analyze and then come out with some kind of a solution. I think that's what is going to help anybody to take change the situation in your advantage. Given the situation, you can take advantage of what's going on and then make new opportunities to work in favor of you. So that's what we have figured out how to make those things happening here.
Right. So in fact, I run a startup. I also run another startup. Okay. So in Bangalore, and the thing is, we believe a lot in our culture. Okay, and we believe that that's the culture is what is taking us forward and all that. So we did have a few new recruits. Okay, so who joined us during this pandemic. So the only problem we faced in onboarding them is they're able to do their work. We're able to share what needs to be done and all that. So, but the only problem that we faced was we weren't really able to onboard them onto our culture. Okay, so which would have happened had they been a part of our organization or of the office setup.
Okay, setup, yeah.
So we are eagerly waiting for this thing to for us to go back to the office, and then they get actually officially inducted into our culture. So do you face such problems in terms of?
We are still recruiting and right through on this time of March, April also we recruited and so, but we have not faced as this problem as such, because our culture has been set in a way that we are very flat. When I say flat, we are literally flat. There is nothing more flatter you can get in an organization. So, for example, anybody can reach out to me, talk to me, or talk to Darren or Chairman Craig. Also, there is no restriction. Number one, number two, we don't create a different hierarchy. We don't believe in hierarchy. To mandate somebody is in charge of somebody else. We don't believe in that. What we tell them is everybody is a leader, number one, and we tell that from the day one, and we train them in that way. You go do what you want to do. You are supposed to be leader in what you are doing. Right. So you can be leading in something and you can be listening to something. Meaning that is something else is being led by somebody else, right? So we all are leaders, we all are listeners. So there is no question of somebody's mandating something or a hierarchy. So that makes it that when the newcomers come in, so that makes it very comfortable for them. Oh, I can also be a leader, with whatever I am doing. It doesn't matter. It can be simple support support activity, or it could be a simple sending a report out. It doesn't matter, right? Because everything is important, right? If sending that report is not important, why do you have to do it?
Right.
Don't do it.
I was actually coming from the place. Yeah, so you're able to do all of this when you were at office, right? So
yes.
How about the new recruits that you have brought in?
Now, that's why. So now, even when you are working from home, the new recruits come. I have not met both guys who we hired. I have not met them in person. Only video conferencing. Only a couple of our employees are able to meet them in office. Not anybody else. But then, so we are able to train them, just using the meetings, and they are able to pick it up and join with our team and able to work together as a team. So as a leader and everybody's a leader, everybody's a listener, kind of a concept works very well. When you're bringing a new one, he is not afraid to talk. He has been given a lot of room to do what he wants to do,
Mhm.
what his skills are, and how he can be useful. That makes a huge difference for them, and they feel a lot more confident. Oh, I am able to say, and somebody is listening to me, and
Right.
somebody is asking me for my opinion. That makes a huge difference. So that makes them to open up and just start interacting with everybody, and then and we tell them constantly, please feel free to make mistakes. So don't no roadblocks, right?
Right.
It's okay to make a mistake. I'm happy to see people make mistake, because that means they are doing something.
Right.
If I don't see anything, like if I don't see any mistake, that means I'm worried. Oh, nothing is happening. That's
Happening.
not a good sign. So yeah, that way, we let them make mistakes and learn lessons, and that's going to be a good experience, not only for them, for every one of us. We all learn from that. So
All right. So when this whole thing was thrust upon us, okay, so towards the end of March, so all of us were very, very reactive, right? So we just pulled together whatever that was possible for us to start to work
yeah,
from home, right? So and then slowly we started to incrementally change things, okay. So there are issues with in terms of security, there are issues in terms of access levels, there are issues in terms of
yeah.
infrastructure available itself. So I mean, did you face such issues, and how did you handle them?
We did face issue. I wouldn't say we did not face issues. There are some kind of requirements coming in, that we have not seen before.
Mhm.
For example, we have our platform, letting them to use a lot of different ways to let the agents to be connected, or our clients to use our platform, for example.
Mhm.
In India, we have only enabled a few, based on the regulations, Department of Telecommunications
Mhm.
regulations, and also what was possible, right? And what is the availability from the providers and things like that.
Mhm.
But now, we have no choice, right? I mean, you
Right.
have to make it work in a certain way, right?
Right.
So sometime when a much bigger client, who would not have thought about moving into a cloud scenario
Mhm.
a few months back. I mean, talking about before March, they would have, it would have taken a lot more for them to come into a cloud, meaning 6 months, a year, or two. Uh, but whereas given the situation now, they had to move very quickly, which is they have not expected. And so when that kind of opportunity coming in place, so you have to make lots of things up,
Right.
available, right?
Mm.
You cannot even define, because you don't have luxury of rolling this out on a 3 months period. We have to do it sometimes. Some of the projects we rolled out in 24 hours, 36 hours,
Oh, okay.
not not a week or a day. So uh, yeah, definitely there's a lot of challenge, but then that's when it helps to have a good team,
Mhm.
who is not hierarchical, meaning who's they have to tell somebody to do something. Everybody is rolling up their sleeves and going, okay, let me get things done, whatever it takes. It doesn't
Right.
matter, right? This that let's put up all the pieces together and make it happen. So that's how it is possible, nothing else. I
Right.
mean, that's goes for to employees who are there with almost 15-20 years,
Mhm.
them also participating it and getting things done. So
Right. Mhm.
that's the only way we can see it, make it work, the situations like this. So
Yeah. So in terms of infrastructure, how did you support your resources?
so the infrastructure we have, we always have invested in our infrastructure. What we do is we do few things very differently. We get we always have manpower, somewhat uh, surplus side. We would never have on a shortage side, right? Meaning,
Okay. Mhm.
I strongly believe in bringing somebody in and then training, because that's part of our culture. Our chairman also keeps telling every time the same thing. because it's going to take time to bring
Right.
somebody and get them up to speed. So you cannot expect them to work in 2 hours, right? So in that way, we don't want to still sit there and wait for an opportunity to come and then hire. So we always have somebody extra to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing goes for the infrastructure, so we always have at least, if you needed a one provider, we are having three, meaning one is at least a backup and another one is to run in parallel. So so we have three, right? So that's the idea. So when you have that kind of infrastructure and you have a partnership with your all your providers, vendors, then it becomes much more easier to handle and then get things done that way.
All right.
So they are there to support us.
Okay. All
They
right.
are willing to be part of our success story. So that's the idea.
Right. Okay. So that's pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
coming back to this, I mean, we keep hearing that remote working might just become the new normal, and even going forward, a lot of companies are thinking about having a substantial portion of their employees to work from home and all of it. So where do you think this would lead to? I mean, what kind of jobs, according to you, can be done efficiently working from home or working from remote, as opposed to what kind of jobs that can be done
Yeah.
efficiently working at an office?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, I myself was asking to many of my colleagues, in the industry, from different various industries, to get some idea, because I'm thinking maybe this is giving an opportunity for us to be even more competitive. For everybody in the sense, all companies can take advantage of it if they think about it and plan it in such a way.
Mm-hmm.
So there are shortfalls in the in the immediate term, everyone is struggling, right? But then how to overcome that struggle and make it into an advantage. So for example, companies who are dealing with services, or just to give a support,
Mm-hmm.
if they can possibly segregate employees who are just doing individual contributions, who can do their work on their own, right? I mean, not have to depend on others that much. So out of 8 hours, probably 5 hours, 6 hours of work, they can do it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
contribute myself, right? Either, let's say I have to create a big Excel sheet, and then I have to do certain amount of documents and everything, so which I can do 6 hours, and I need an half an hour to talk to somebody, and half an hour to review with somebody and things like that. If I can segregate that kind of a group of employees, I can happily make them
Mm-hmm.
as a first cut of to let them work from home, right? Or remote locations. So, and then look at employees who looking into a little bit more interaction, if you have sales who are always looking to meet somebody, different companies. But then now thinking about that, how many companies are having employees at office, almost
Yeah,
not
there's
many.
nobody for you to go and meet. Yeah.
Me. So that was one of our worry in the beginning, what do we do with our sales, right? But then our sales guys have never left their home, right? From March, some of them are just in their home for almost record time, for 90 plus days or 100 days, staying at home, not going anywhere. It is very very unusual scenario
Mm-hmm.
for them. But then if you look at how many prospects we are able to meet over the video conferencing, that's amazing actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is opening up another kind of opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now clients are getting to accepting the idea that, okay, I can meet somebody over the video conferencing, it's okay.
Right.
As long as I discuss the solution, as long as I see what the my problems, and willing to listen and then come up with some kind of a solution, so
Mm-hmm.
instead of making a physical meeting. So that's working out very well. So the sales also can happen remotely, which is not expected, but that shows that's the reality, right?
Right.
So that's a good thing also. So every company should be doing that kind of research and analysis, where they can prioritize which can be moved, which can be here, and sometimes something can be happening maybe once a month they can meet somewhere, to make that human interaction possible and things like that for the limited employees. That is also another options and everything. So yeah, but overall I think it is going to be a good transition, at least giving working women good chance to spend a lot of time with their family and take care of their kids, so because there's no school.
Right.
So what do they do, right? So it is a great time for them, great way for them to be able to handle both family and also do a reasonably good time over the daytime, and then they are always there to work to do in the evenings and the early mornings to compensate. So it really doesn't matter what time of the day they are working, not working. That is mostly secondary if if you have the right team and the culture to get things done. So
okay. All right. So in fact, I did a webinar in the month of May. Okay. So we did a survey during the webinar as to what irks them the most during this work from home thing. So, and people came up with fantastic options like, webinar fatigue was the number one reason. Okay. And we were doing a webinar. Okay. And Zoom fatigue was the second reason that was given. So have you had such issues? I mean, for instance, we tend to work more when you're working from home compared to when we were at office, right? So because we don't really differentiate between work and home now. So have there been, cases where you had to force your employees to take off so that, they can actually relax and then not do anything for a couple of days? Okay. So have there been situations like that?
Yeah, we actually, our employees were at one time, they were asking us why can't we do work from home, right? I mean, last year and all. So we did allow work from home, but not to the scale of what we are doing now, right? This is now almost everybody's working from home kind of a situation now. So when it started, they started enjoying it, oh, they are we are able to do we are able to gain a lot of time and everything, which is true. But then they started realizing it slowly. Clients are also working from home, meaning that time boundary was not there anymore, like a 9 to 5 or any particular set of time. So clients started interacting with them, even late time, like at 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the night. And they were sometimes they were expecting them to answer some questions for them, or come up with some kind of explanation, and then planning for tomorrow at 10:30 in the night before. So so overall, our employees started realizing, oh, this is now when they started realizing, I'm now doing a lot more than 8 hours, this is easily a lot more. So since clients are also home, there is only so much you can tell them, right? But what happened in our favor is we already have different shifts, right? We almost we have to cover 24 hours.
Okay.
So what we have done is instead of the same employee answering the questions, if it is on the different timing, night time or something, maybe somebody else can, whoever is that time, they can get back to them with some answer, and then take their questions, and then we'll get back to them the next day immediately, and things like that. So we have started managing it that way, so that way we can give them a good rest. There are instances where we have forcefully asked them to just take 3 days off and go. That is always there. One employee, he was from Kerala and he stayed here, stuck in Chennai. So he did lots of support, day time, night time, sometimes figure that weekend and all that. And when he got chance to go back to Kerala, the e-pass and all that was available. We told him just don't worry, go and spend some time with your family, and then
we'll figure it out.
So. We'll figure it out. So it happens like that also. One of our employees, she's from Andaman, so she somehow made it back to Andaman. So, so
That must have
yeah,
been one expedition. So
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, it's like things like that. It happens. So yeah, so we are able to accommodate different kinds of scenarios.
very
Absolutely.
interesting, very interesting. So
Yeah.
considering your experience, I mean, do you think even in a post-pandemic thing, so earlier customers never thought a video conferencing meeting can be considered a meeting, right? So now it has become an acceptable thing. So do you think that post this scenario, a lot of things would happen, still continue to happen over videos, and there would be a lot less travel, and people can actually optimize a lot of things?
I would think it is going in that direction. Maybe a little bit can go in person, right, after the
Right,
people
right.
they come out of the fear. Obviously, that is going to be there, but this has really opened up that way of communication. People are accepting it. It was we were able to do that in US all along, right? We had that kind of a meeting for years, right?
Right.
But in India, for some reason, even for a client who we are interacting with 6 months, a year, two
Mhm.
years. Even then, if I want to ask him for a video conferencing, that was not something considered or
Yeah.
taken up in a right way for whatever the reason it is, right, earlier. But that has completely changed now. So I'm thinking this behavior,
Mhm.
um, like you know probably may not continue 100%, but it will give us an option, right? At
Yeah.
least first level, second level meeting you can do this, and
Mhm.
then when you are going in that particular area, maybe you can meet them,
Right.
things like that, which also makes lots of sense,
Mm.
so because the speed at which you can do things, right, meeting
Yeah.
over the doing the video conferencing compared to a physical meeting is really really phenomenal, right?
Right.
So because right now we are able to make a meeting, for example, 3 or 4 or sometimes 5 meetings in a day, which was never the case, right? Because, for example, cities like Mumbai or Bangalore, right?
Mm.
One meeting
Yeah.
morning, so we make sure we take a room closer to our client's place. We
Right.
go there and stay night, and so first meeting is done for that day.
Right.
you know the second meeting, it is we leave it open, right? So
Right. Yeah. So
so
yeah.
if you're
So
able to get into that place, then we make a call and then see if they are available, go meet them. Otherwise, you cannot even pre-plan it because it's so unpredictable with reaching from one place to other.
yeah. Hope
So
hope is the only strategy when it comes to Bangalore and Bombay when you're
Bombay.
planning to have multiple meetings. Yeah. No, you're true.
Yeah,
You're very true.
yeah.
So yeah, so when it comes to all of this, right? So I keep hearing that there are a lot of cyber security issues that are there with work from home, and cyber attacks happen. They target these work from home users. A lot of phishing campaigns, a lot of malwares in process,
Yeah.
and ransomware and all that. So I mean, do you get? I mean, do you were you impacted with any such things during this?
No, we have not. So it is very very important to keep up with the security, and being on a cloud provider, that
Mhm.
was one of our top most priority, right, from the day one. So
Right.
because we are in this business for more than 20 years now, and we do that on the cloud from the day one.
Mhm.
It was not called cloud, right? It was called in our own data centers, and then software as a service, SaaS provider, and then now the new term is like a cloud providers, right? But but the challenges have been the same from the day one, right?
Mhm.
How to keep it secured, because especially when you're allowing multiple clients to interact, using the same platform. How do you keep it secure,
Mhm.
and how do we live up to the SLA for each one of of our customers?
Mhm.
So we have, that's why we were we put ourselves to a difficult task of going through all the certifications. Number one,
Mhm.
all the leading certifications, right, that we make it possible, for the HIPAA, for the healthcare, SOC, or PCI, the banking, and then we do the third party vulnerability test ourselves, so all these things, what it does is it helps us to make sure double check ourselves, like, what we are offering is safe and secure, and all the patches, security, all the aspects are taken care. All the auditing is done, like, who is accessing what and
Okay.
why, how, when, all kinds of auditings are done. So there is nothing, for example, if you logged in like, June 15th 2019, like, so we should be able to see why Sabah logged in like
Okay.
in June, so, and when and what did he do, why and how long, so that auditing, like, that would have shown up somewhere, and then, like, that would have been audited, and that question would have been raised, and like that.
Okay.
So that's a kind of like, the level of security we are
All right.
putting in place to make sure, like, all our platform stays safe, and also all of our clients data, everything is safe.
Okay, that's pretty nice. So just to get a sense of the size and scale at which you operate with them, and can you just let the viewers also know about the number of customers that you have and the areas in which we work and all that all over the world?
Yeah, so we are serving around the globe, right? US being our main business hub, and now we are spreading across the globe. India's like, happens to be our next hot market.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, like, almost close, nearing 3,000 clients, enterprise clients around the globe, and we have partners with lots of bigger companies, and, like, the service providers, and we service lots of bigger banks, utility companies, and government agencies, and newspapers, and vertical, like a healthcare is one of our huge healthcare, and international calling is been another big sector, because since we are serving lots and lots of enterprise clients throughout the world, it becomes much more easier for us to be able to give that kind of um, what do you call, scalable and reliable, like an environment for all of our clients, right? Because what happens in the telco, when you are doing more minutes, the providers, they give lots of value to their clients, like us, and we can go ahead and talk to them, and then, like, ask them to make few things that is suitable for our clients, and they'll be more than open to help us with that, and they will be giving us the priority to troubleshoot if there are any issues, for example, like, because when you push billions of calls, right? So you have that much of traffic going on. So all the providers, top providers, are interested in working with us, right?
Absolutely.
So that makes it easier to, like, get the like, very reliable service, and also be able to troubleshoot in case if there's something goes on. That's very
Yeah.
critical.
So the
When you're,
SLAs that they give you would be much larger compared to
yeah,
a normal customer, right?
yeah. So that makes our platform much more stable, and how we are able to differentiate from others, like,
All right.
So for example, calling from India to US, right, UK, lots and lots of clients coming on board with the issues, saying that common issues that voice quality is not good,
Yeah.
and they're going to drop, which they will never ever experience on our platform, never. How is that possible? Once you have multiple providers, top tier one providers, right? That's exactly what we have, and so everybody will have always, like, few providers lined up for their requirement.
Right.
Meaning one fails, like, other one is there, always there to pick up. Sometimes it goes on multiple providers, so at the same time.
Okay.
So things like that. So that's just one example. So
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, Uttaman. So is there anything else that you want to add to this?
yeah, I mean, there are, like, lots of myths in our Indian concern, like, like the DOT and the TRI regulations and this and that, and like, cloud is not secure, like I mentioned sometime back. Like, those things are changing, and like, people are realizing, with given the situation now. Now they are realizing, now like, on premises is probably, like, not the way to go, because like I'm not able to get what I want to
Right.
get, right? And also how to make sure like you have all the features and all the security and everything when you're having on-premises solution is very, very, very difficult,
Mhm.
unless and also it can become very expensive if you want to do everything the right way. When I say right way, meaning literally like if you look into every single aspect what we discussed, if you want to make those things happen in an on-premises solution,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it is going to be much more expensive, and you would soon realize, are we in the business of managing our solution, or like doing our
Business.
core business, like so that's really not worth doing it. So
So before we end this, Uthaman,
yeah,
so how long do you think this entire pandemic would last?
hope like everyone is going to come to an end soon, but looks like the reality is like not that favorable yet. At least we have not seen that like anything that is telling us like it is going to end anytime, few months or something. Probably by early next year or mid next year we'll have something.
Yeah, I think that would be good. That would be a good timeline, in fact, given the
Yeah,
way things are going. Yeah.
going, yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Uthaman, for being on the show. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir.